Welcome to the I Love Wine and Dogs podcast, created, produced, and hosted by Heidi Huebner, with engineering and production by Timothy StoneDancer Coleman. This show was created to celebrate good wine, amazing pets, and people from around the world who are doing great things in their local communities.
Hi, Tim. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to our show. We're so excited to be back again.
Yes! How are you, sister?
So anything new in your life I need to hear about before we delve in?
Oh, listen, you know what? It's been a very wild and crazy, set of days and weeks here in the Bronx, New York, but everything has, I think at this point, honestly, to be honest, I'm just learning to take every day like one moment at a time, right? Like there's so many things that are happening in life. I feel like everybody's like super intense with every little thing that happens. So I'm just learning how to breathe my way through it. How about for you?
It's funny. I feel the same way, and I've had conversations with friends. I don't know why we just feel like we're all over the place all the time.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. I've learned it's always going to work out, whatever it is. If we just breathe and take a minute. I swear by my Headspace app that I will use that if I just feel like I'll put it on. There's quick meditations or breathing things. And I'm being able to do that more on my own when I just go take a beat. Because it works out. The universe has us.
That's exactly right. And if you participate in the belief that everything that is happening right now was meant to happen and that there's a lesson inside of it, whether it's good or bad, whether you like what's happening or not, then I think it allows us to take a much bigger view of all these little, small individual things in life.
Very well said, my friend. I love that. I feel like I need to write that down. So I'm glad this is recorded.
Yeah, me too.
Well, listen, I'm really excited for our guest today. Bill Crowe is an amazing person, friend, mentor to me, and has just done so much to make the world and things for people and animals better. Bill and I have a background. We've known each other for a long time, much like you and I. We come from the entertainment world. Bill has a beautiful voice and was an incredible dancer, and he can still do the splits. He can, and bend forward and stretch. I think our bodies just always remember how to do that. But he's done so much, and from entertainment, he moved into this nonprofit world. So without further ado, let's bring on our guest, Mr. Bill Crowe.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Bill, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
So, Bill, tell us a little bit about your background in entertainment. When did you start classes? When did you first know you wanted to do that?
Well, it was in college. I auditioned for a show and got in, and it was like I was bitten, by the bug. And so I ended up changing my major to theater. And then from there moved to New York after I graduated and, worked my fingers to the bone, and all I got was bony fingers. So I started doing other things, and, I wanted things to be fulfilling. I didn't want to just, work. So I started volunteering for a lot of nonprofits. And at the time, AIDS was raging. So I was volunteering for Project Angel Food and things like that. And then they really needed people. They needed people that could manage things because everybody had a really warm heart and wanted to do well, but they didn't necessarily have the management skills or the administrative skills. And before I knew it, I was the director of Project Angel Food and was running that for a while. And from there, moved to other nonprofit organizations. And about 20 years ago, my love for animals kicked in with my experience with nonprofits, and I started running the Pet Care Foundation. And we're a nonprofit who saves animals in LA City and LA County, and been doing that for It'll be 20 years in December.
I'm going to back up for 1 second.
Okay,
Growing up, did you have animals? No. It's all good because it's all, again, part of this.
Yeah.
Growing up, did you have animals?
Oh my God. So many. And, you think of that kids are the ones that bring in the strays. Well, my father was the one that brought in the strays all the time. And my mother would just roll her eyes and go, oh my God, another one. But my dad's love for animals, he just could not turn away a stray. So we had multiple cats, multiple dogs, always.
So again, the animals were part of your life growing up as a child, and entertainment, but there was always this draw to do good, help, this heartstrings. Hey, and that's actually is that where we met?
Yeah. That's where we met. There was a Heartstrings, which was an AIDS benefit musical. And Heidi and I were both dancers and singers in that. And that's where we met 10 million years ago when God was a baby.
That was a great show. And I don't even remember what year that was. It was a long time ago. But
about it.
But again, like, we had this connection and this wonderful group of friends, and then kind of lost track because this was before social media and cell phones and all of that stuff.
Yeah. And then, shortly after I got this job, I was, trying to figure out who was who in the animal world because I didn't know. And people kept talking about Heidi, who worked for the LA animal shelters. And I wondered, Heidi, is it Heidi? My Heidi? And so I ended up calling her, and, she answered the phone. This is Heidi. I was like, is this Heidi Huebner? And she went, yeah. And so, it was like, oh my God. So we were meant to come back together.
Absolutely. I literally remember where I was sitting at my desk answering the phone.
Oh, me too.
Right? And it was like, oh my God, Bill Crowe. Of course, we had 1,000 things to catch up on, and both being in the animal world at the same time, like in jobs, like actually making a living with our passion. It was like, how lucky are we?
Yeah. Yeah. And I still feel that way. Because as hard as working in the animal world is, and most nonprofits are that way, it's very rewarding. You have to focus on the successes that you have, because if you don't, you're just going to be sad all the time. And if you're sad all the time, you're not as effective. So.
Absolutely. And just really quickly, I don't know if you can see my shirt, but I have to show this.
It says dog mom. Yes,
this is what you got me.
I love it.
Because she is a dog mom.
And cat and horse and everything. Yeah. We're mothers and fathers to all living creatures. But this is one of my favorite shirts. So I wanted to make sure.
I'm glad you like it.
I love it. I have a lot of shows I'll be wearing for this show that Bill has given me.
I tend to buy. There's a website called greatergood.org. And they sell products, and all the money from the product sales go to animal organizations. Or you can pick whatever charity you want, breast cancer, hungry, all that stuff.
Before we continue on with our interview with Bill Crowe, I wanted to just share the wine of today.
Yummy.
Edna Valley Chardonnay. This is another standard I always have at my house. It's just a nice little light wine. And I'm going to be cracking this baby up later tonight. Bill, are there delicious. Any wines that you like? Or any fun cocktails?
Well, there's not particular brands, but I tend to go for Pinot Noir. No matter what I'm eating, I just love Pinot Noir a lot. It's a little lighter than Merlot and just a little sweeter than Cabernet. So I just really go for Pinot Noir.
That is a good one. I'm going to have to find a good one and feature that on a future show. Tim's also a red wine lover.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. My favorite. And just like you, Bill, it doesn't really matter what I'm eating, but I think different red wines pair really well. Most of my week, I'm a vegan, but on Sundays I cheat. This is my cheat day. And I have salmon, so, of different ways and kinds. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and again, please, everybody, we would love to know what your favorite wines are, or if you are going to try the Edna Valley Chardonnay, or if that's one of your staples too. You can find us on I Love Wine and Dogs, all one word, on Facebook to be interactive with us, or you can find us on Instagram. Again, I Love Wine and Dogs, all one word. Okay, so let's get back to Pet Care Foundation. So Bill, Paula, tell us how Pet Care started, and then we'll go into everything that you're doing.
Okay. Paula Kent Meehan founded Pet Care Foundation, and you can Google her. She's a very well-known lady in the beauty industry. She created the company Redken, and she started from nothing. She was a high school dropout. She just was allergic to hairspray. So she created her own hairspray, and then she thought, well, there are probably other women that might be allergic to hairspray. And so she created her own hairspray that she could use herself. And back then, salons did not sell products. So she went around and was peddling her hairspray to all the salons, and before you know it, they were selling it in all the salons. So she's really credited for that whole retail thing that goes on in salons now. But anyway, she became a very wealthy lady from Redken, and she sold it to L'Oreal in 2004, right before the big Northridge earthquake. And so she made a lot of money from that sale, and she always loved animals. She always had dogs and cats, and right about 20 years ago, she decided to start a foundation, and she hired me to basically create it and define what it was going to do. And very grateful to her. She passed away about 10 years ago, but she left a lot of her estate to the foundation, so its work could go on in perpetuity.
That's beautiful.
That's what we're doing today. Yeah.
Yeah,
Keeping her legacy alive.
Yeah, she was an amazing woman, and I'm grateful that I got to know her. And am also a part of Pet Care Foundation as a board member.
Yep.
And they do so many great things. Bill, let's talk about some of the programs that Pet Care's got going on.
Well, our biggest one is our grooming program. A lot of people may not realize it, but strays and even owner surrender dogs that come in, they're often just a mess. Like you can barely recognize that they're a dog. They're so matted and dirty and fleas and ticks and horrible things that nobody wants to bring into their home. Well, we clean them up and make them beautiful, and then everybody wants to bring them into their home. And the grooming program has a 96% adoption rate, which means that every dog that we groom pretty much has a 96% chance of being adopted. And we've been doing that for quite a long time, and it really falls in line with Paula's whole history, because she was in the beauty industry, and we came about it quite by accident because her granddaughter-in-law came to me one day about 5 years after we started the foundation and said, I'm a dog groomer. And so we just started very small, and now we have 8 groomers working in all the city shelters every day of the week, even Saturday and Sunday. We groom about 800 dogs a year, which is, it's amazing. The city shelters love us because we do that. And then we also do large-scale adoption events, and there are 6 LA city shelters and 7 LA county shelters. And so we do the adoption events simultaneously in each shelter. And it's so much better than doing it at a location because people can come to the shelter and see every animal, not just the ones that were selected to go to the park, for an adoption event. So it gives every animal at the shelter a chance. And those have been really successful. And then we also do a lot of social media, networking. It works. I mean, every animal that we decide to network, their chance of getting adopted just goes way up. And we also do a TV show that we go into the shelter and we film the animals and put it up on air. It airs on Beverly Hills City Channel and West Hollywood City Channel and LA City Channel. And it has a pretty high adoption rate as well. So if you get on TV, everybody wants you, you know.
So,
That's
Bill,
really
we're going
amazing.
to put everything up there, but if where can people find, what's your website?
It's Pet Care.
And then Facebook and Instagram?
Yeah, it's all just Pet Care Foundation, hashtag Pet Care Foundation.
So please check out the website. The grooming, I love all of the programs, but the grooming program, when you see these dogs, and we're going to put some before and after pictures up as well, they smile. You know, can you imagine you can't walk or move your arm because the hair is so matted, and all of a sudden you can move your limbs? And dogs don't want to be dirty like that.
Yeah.
They just don't. You know,
That's
even
exactly
if they're
right.
short-haired dogs and they don't have that tangled hair, just getting a bath, if a dog's never had a bath in 9 years.
Yeah. I mean, what the before and after pictures don't show is the smell. The difference is amazing. You know, you go from a dog that you can barely be around because they smell so bad to one that smells like flowers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It's just beautiful. It's my favorite program that you guys do.
Yeah.
And
It touches your heart when you see some of the before and after pictures where you see this picture and you go, is that a dog or is that a dirty mop? You know? And then,
So can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
Yeah. So my question would be, once the animal is adopted, what is your process in terms of, you know, I think about a college, and of course it's probably not at this level, but I think about it like an alumni program, right? Like the animals that have come through, are the new owners sending you updated pictures and video and like, hey, here's you know how little Matthew is doing now, etc.
Yes, quite often they do. They send pictures and videos and letters and emails and texts saying how happy they are. And, you know, and occasionally we get the ones that say this is not working out, you know, and we try to help them with resources to make it work out. And if it doesn't, then we continue on to try to rehome the animal as well.
That's really powerful, because sometimes, you know, especially kids, I think we've all been through, I want a dog, I want a cat, I want a little, you know, I was a foster parent for a while, and the girls wanted red-eared turtles. And so I was like, okay, sure, turtles, that can't be that intense. And it was intense.
Yeah.
Right. So you do need those additional supports and resources. So I guess just for our listeners, I just wanted to make sure people know it's not just about like you adopt the dog and then you're on your own. There are additional supports out there to help you properly care for the type of animal that you have.
We have a lot of, if you go to our website, petcarefoundation.org, and click on pet info, there's a myriad of resources there. And then we're also can serve as a connection to other resources and dog trainers, cat therapists, you know, all kinds of stuff.
We'll be right back after these messages. Sawyer Lindquist wines are a collaboration between Bob Lindquist and Louisa Sawyer Lindquist. The wines all have a distinctive flair and reflect the balanced style of those two talented winemakers. Conveniently located in the charming village of Arroyo Grande, California, you can visit their website to get more information about their selection of wines or schedule a wine tasting for you and your friends. And don't forget to let them know that you heard about them on the I Love Wine and Dogs podcast. Welcome back to the show.
I wish every city shelter had a grooming program. Mm-hmm. It would just make a huge difference. So if anybody hearing this is so inclined to say, hey, how do I do this? Get in touch with Bill and they can help you. This is the model for other shelters to be able to use. All right. What's the hardest part about this job? And do you ever want to throw the towel in?
I never want to throw the towel in, no. But the hard part is people who don't want to put the work in. You know, like things magically happen sometimes, and it's wonderful when they do. But quite often you bring an animal into your home and they're scared. They don't know where they are. They've been through all kinds of trauma. And, you know, it takes them a while. You know, I always tell people it may take 6 months. It may take a year for this animal to come to their full personality and be completely secure and at home with you. You know, it may not. It may happen magically that day. You never know. But I always say you got to be willing to put the work in. You know, like any relationship, you got to want to make it work. You got to provide the love. You got to provide the security and training if it needs training too, because you know they don't know where they are. They don't know the rules in your house, and they don't know you. So sometimes it takes time, and sometimes people aren't willing to do that, you know, for whatever reason. So it gets a little frustrating when the people are not willing to do that.
All right. So, Bill, why do you think, I feel like we had a while where we were doing really good about adoptions in the shelters and not all these animals coming back. And I feel like we're overloaded again.
Well, we are. I mean, during COVID, the shelters almost cleared out because people were home. And so they went and adopted, they went and fostered, and it was wonderful. But then, you know, once it relaxed, the shelters got overrun again. And now, especially with dogs now, it used to be cats, but now it's dogs, especially big dogs. We're just so full of big dogs. It's crazy.
Which is why we always say, please adopt, don't shop. We have so many beautiful animals in the shelters and that rescue groups have. You will find what you're looking for.
And yeah, and to follow up with that, I just want to say it may take a little more time than calling a breeder and getting what you want. But if you want a particular breed, there's pretty much a rescue group for every breed if you can't find it in a municipal shelter. And it may take a little bit more time, but it sure is worth it, I think.
100%. Bill, what can people in the community do? How can people help in their community? And if you're not ready to adopt, what are some other options that people can look into?
Well, all of the municipal shelters and the rescue groups, the nonprofit rescue groups, they have foster programs where you can take an animal into your home for a short period of time or a long period of time and foster it so that they have more room at the shelter and more room at the rescue group to save others. You can also, if you can't do that, if you just don't have a situation where you can bring an animal into your home, you can always volunteer. All the rescue groups need volunteers. All the city and county shelters need volunteers. Without the volunteers, the animals would be miserable because they just don't have the staff to sit and pet an animal for 30 minutes or whatever, or take them out for a walk. They just don't have the staff or the funding, you know, to provide the staff for that. So volunteering is amazing, and it's so rewarding. And if you don't have the time for that, you can always donate. They always need, even just newspapers, the shelter and the rescue groups need newspapers to put down in the cages, and you know, of course, food is important. Toys, any blankets, pillows, dog beds. You know, you can always donate. And of course, money. Money's always welcome.
Right. And with social media, I always thought, wouldn't it be cool if local schools could partner with their local shelters and like each kid, I feel like they used to do that. They would do little field trips to read to the dogs and cats, but take it a step farther and they become an advocate and, post pictures of the dogs at school. Like, hey, this dog or cat or bunny, guinea pig needs a home or a foster.
That's actually a really good idea. I don't know if that goes on right now, but yeah, if every kid was assigned an animal to network, that would be an amazing program.
So we're going to talk about that offline and see if let's do a pilot and see how that works. I think that would be spectacular.
Yeah, I do too.
And would make a difference, right, Chubbs?
Yeah, Chubbs. Chubbs a rescue.
Yes, they're all rescues. Now she's going to take
purebred pug rescue. So you can get a purebred animal if that's your heart's desire.
Absolutely. Bill, if I had a magic wand.
You don't?
I might. Bibbidi bobbidi boo. If I could grant a wish or two for you, off the top of your head right now, what would that be?
It would be that every pet guardian, I don't want to say owner, guardian, would be a responsible guardian. They would spay and neuter, they would give them proper care, and they would adopt and not buy from breeders. So that's a multiple answer. I'm sorry.
That's okay. If you have a couple more, throw them out there.
As long as we're waving magic wands, I just thought I'd get them all in there.
I like it.
It's absolutely true. That's why I always tell people, you've got to be willing to give it at least 3 months, at the very least, because they've got to learn your household. They've got to learn you. They've got to, and most animals are very anxious and willing to learn all that. And they want to learn it quickly because dogs especially want to please. Cats do too, don't get me wrong. But dogs especially, they're people pleasers, most of them. They want to be your friend. They want to be your companion. They want to, gel with your life. But you got to give them time to learn what that is, especially if they've been through, a rough time. It may take them longer to trust. But older dogs tend to learn that faster. I try to gear people towards the 4, 5, 6-year-olds, because they pick it up faster. They've been through it, so they learn faster. I understand people love puppies. Puppies are cute, but it's like bringing an infant into your home. They take a little bit longer to learn. You got to be willing to go through all the mistakes that they're going to make, and they're going to make them. And patience, yes, patience is a virtue.
Absolutely.
She's falling asleep.
You should have a glass of wine too, Heidi, to complete the picture.
Right. So, Bill, you just touched on something that you need to look for the dog or animal that's right for your lifestyle.
Oh, yeah. Please. That's one thing that I want to say.
Yeah.
Please do your research if you're wanting a dog, especially. Because different breeds have different characteristics. Like if you're a couch potato, you don't want a husky. They're beautiful, but they have to run, they have to hike, they have to have a job to do. And if you're not willing to play with them and hike with them, or at least walk a lot with them, they're not a good breed for you. Get something more couch potato.
Or same thing like a Jack Russell. Jack Russells are busybody. They need to be stimulated as well. So don't think little dog equals, they don't need that much exercise.
Right. Especially Jack Russells. They love to go, 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 go. That's why they do a lot of agility. That they were bred to be very active. So if you're not a hiker, jogger, don't get a Jack Russell. Don't get a husky. Get something that's calmer.
Yeah, thank you. That's really, really important because, I mean, right now we're inundated with huskies at the shelters. It's heartbreaking.
They're
It's heartbreaking.
gorgeous. They're gorgeous, but people get them because they're gorgeous, and then and then they don't train them properly. And then they've got this 100-pound dog that's running around their house, driving them crazy, and so they turn them into the shelter, and it's unfortunate, but it's like Heidi said, you would be shocked that the shelters would be so full of these beautiful, beautiful animals, but they are. There's so many huskies and German shepherds.
I love German
I
shepherds.
know. I have one sleeping right there. And pit bulls, of course, they're full of pit bulls. But surprisingly, German shepherds and huskies are right up there with pit bulls in the shelters.
So do you have, is there some sort of a chart that exists? I think one of the other things that people don't consider is the size of the space that they live in as they're choosing, their forever family member. I live in New York City. I'm in the Bronx, and it's an apartment building, and one of my neighbors has a Great Dane. And I remember the first time I saw, she's a beautiful, very well-behaved, Great Dane, but she's so big for the space.
Yeah.
And so he's always outside trying to walk her. And now I'm like, hey, listen, I'll volunteer to walk her if she needs an extra walk during the day. Like she needs to stretch her legs. I can see it.
That's great.
Right. So how do you coach people when they come in looking for their new family member? What are the types of things that you say to them so that they're actually in the right mindset and they're not just taken in by the cuteness of the animal?
Right. Well, I'm a firm believer of if you want it to work out, you can make it work out. Like this guy that you said with the Great Dane in an apartment, he's made it work. And it sounds like he's willing to make it work. The question is, are you willing to make it work? So you can have a Great Pyrenees or a Great Dane in an apartment if you are willing to get them out and walk, 3 or 4 times a day. If you're not, then no, get a smaller dog. But you can every situation you can make it work. It's the person, what's going on in your head, what's in your heart, what can you do to make it work? Because the dog is going to love you, and all the dog wants is for you to take care of him and love him back.
That was good. One more quick thing I want us to touch on. She is completely asleep.
I can tell. She's out.
Love it. I love it. I love it. If you already have another animal at home, you have to be careful and you have to introduce the new pet into the home the right way.
Right.
That's critical.
Right. You can't just bring him in and go, here's your new brother. Even humans would reject that. So it's important to either do your research, learn about how to introduce an animal to another animal, which there's a myriad of websites, ours included, which can give you that information. Or if you have the funds, it's great to hire a trainer to bring them in, let them introduce the animals slowly. And, quite often it's a process of keeping them separated for a few days, a few weeks, something like that, if you can. But, do the research, do the homework. It always pays off if you do.
Yeah. The resources are out there. I'm going to give a quick plug for this company called the Zoom Room.
Zoom Room is great.
I love them, and they are nationwide. They're a franchise, and
I didn't know.
I took Ripley, the puppy, our Roddy puppy, there for puppy socialization and play groups and training. And they also have agility and obedience for older dogs. And sometimes something like that might be a little more reasonable than having a private trainer, depending on what your situation is. But, there are resources out there. You can reach out to Bill on Pet Care Foundation in your local communities. Reach out to me. We're all here to help and support you because that's what it's all about. It's all of us working together.
Takes a village, as they say.
Well, on that note, Bill Crowe, I love you. Thank you so much for being our guest.
You're welcome. I love you too.
Thank you for all the amazing work you're doing and continuing to do.
You too.
Tim, what can I say? I'm so lucky that you're my partner in this journey. Thank you.
Hey, listen, thanks for having me along for the ride. I love you completely. Even if we didn't meet in some sort of a pet environment, we still met on the entertainment connection, and I'm so happy to be here.
All right, everybody. Until next time, take care, adopt, and don't shop. Make it a great day.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the cast, producers, or any affiliated organization.